Yo, what's up, chefs? It's Vinny, and allow me to welcome you back to episode 2 of the Zero to Hero series on my monk. If you haven't seen episode 1, I definitely recommend you go check it out, but simply put, I'm only using items and currency that I find on this character, so there are no hand-me-downs or assistance from the rest of my account. In this episode, we'll be going through Act 3, 4, and 5, making some pretty massive build changes along the way, and ultimately ending up with something that is literally just obliterating everything, including bosses, within a couple of seconds, as I'm sure you saw in the intro. Also, due to popular request, I will be including a character/build update somewhere around the middle of the video, so if you are one of the people that are interested in that, then make sure to stay tuned. Otherwise, feel free to use the chapters down below to skip that part, as it will probably interrupt the flow of the video. As you just saw, we already got an Exalted Orb drop really early into Act 3, which is super nice for us. Now, we just had to take care of the Witch Hut with Dumb and Dumber for our Lesser Jeweler's Orb.
Yoink!
After we throw that on Ice Strike so we can add Primal Armament as the third support, it was time to spend that Exalted Orb on a new helmet. After taking care of the gorilla and getting the snake venom for our permanent bonuses, I thought it was only appropriate to get the red character effect to truly embody Darth Maul.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Now, this boss started off a bit rough as it took me a while to fully get him frozen, but then he went down pretty quickly. Either way though, I wasn't happy with how long it was taking to freeze bosses, so I knew that I was due for some upgrades relatively soon. The first of which is actually a very important jewel that will give me rage on hit, and you definitely want to try and get at least one of these if you're playing this build.
seeks answers. Minds they strike for the heart. An overwhelming, unrelenting and unyielding determination.
After finishing the ultimatum trial, we got access to our 3rd and 4th ascendancy point, which we used to pick up Unbound Avatar. And let's just say this gave us a little boost to our damage.
Is like curl your flesh. No, you will see. The battle will be saved.
Now that we're level 45, we could equip our new quarterstaff, and you guys can see just how much of a difference getting a new weapon actually makes to your DPS. Up next, we have the final boss of Act 3, and I gotta be honest, he was giving me a really hard time. I just felt like I didn't have enough damage, he was getting so many attacks off that I had to keep dodging, but finally we were just barely able to get him down without dying. It was super close and actually took a while, so make sure to strap in.
So that was a lie.
Now that we were into the Cruel Axe, I was feeling pretty good about my damage, but I definitely wanted to improve my defense, especially with the reductions to my elemental resistances. So once I got to town, I decided to exchange my 2 Chaos Orbs for 4 Exalted Orbs, and then use all 7 of those Exalted on a new chest piece, boots, and necklace, since those are all items that I've either gotten from vendors, or just by picking them up off the ground and identifying them, and they were all sorely due for an upgrade. Now that we got our upgrades, we still just needed to get to level 48 to actually be able to equip them.
What's twisted nightmare?
Alrighty, so now that I'm level 48, so I can equip my new gear, and yes, I will be able to equip the chest piece once I get the added dexterity from the necklace and boots, which was definitely calculated, not lucky at all. Thought I would do a quick character update because I've had a lot of comments asking to do those during this series. However, it is going to be very surface level. I'm going to be creating a full, in-depth, detailed build guide right after this video comes out. So I would definitely recommend you check that out if you want to play this build. This is going to be very surface level. For the gear, I'm going to start off with what I have been wearing, so not including the upgrades, and then I'll go over the upgrades. And realistically, for the skills, passives, and gear, everything I'm about to show is what you've seen for the last 5 to 10 bosses or whatever it's been exactly. What I killed Doriani with, the Apex of Filth Queen with, any bosses that I've killed so far in Cruel Act 1. When I've been one-shotting the bosses, it's what you're about to see. For the gear, like I said, it's going to be very surface level. I'm just going to hover over each piece, and then I'll probably give like the top 2 or 3 priority stats. Everything else is cherry on top. So for the staff, we got this for 1 Exalted. Percent increased Fizz, adds to physical damage, and percent increased attack speed are the priority. Brief interruption by me from the future, just to say that the added fire damage on the quarterstaff, even though I didn't realize it until later, and it was just a coincidence that the staff I bought had it, it is actually a pretty important part of the build because it was giving me more than enough damage to ignite enemies, including bosses, especially with Unbound Avatar and Tempest Spell, which I found out when rewatching some of the super quick boss kills. Once I realized this, I picked up Echoing Flames, combine that with Echoing Frost and Echoing Thunder, and this resulted in me doing 90% extra elemental damage, which is insane, and it's making me heavily consider coming all the way down here to get Harness the Elements, which actually isn't that far away from where I'm currently at, but I'd grab Harness the Elements, which would result in an additional 60% elemental damage, because I'm currently already applying Ignite, Chill, Freeze, and Shock. Also, just as a side note, I tested this node, one with the Storm. Quarterstaff skills that consume power charges count as consuming an additional power charge with charged staff, and I confirmed it does not work at all. It does not make 3 power charges result in like a 4 power charge charged staff, so if you're going this build, don't bother getting it. For the gloves, we got these for 1 Exalted. The adds to Fizz damage, Max Life, and Fire Res are the priority, everything else is whatever. Helmet, Max Life, Fire Res, Cold Res. Life Regeneration is a nice bonus, but not priority. 1 Exalted as well. Gloves were 1 Exalted, I don't know if I said that. Chest piece, we found this and ID'd it back in Act 2. Max Life, Cold Resistance are priority. Spirit was a nice bonus. Life Regeneration was a nice bonus. Belt, we got this for 1 Exalted. Max Life, Fire Res, Lightning Res. Boots, found these from a vendor, should be included at the beginning of this video. Increased movement speed is honestly the only priority stat here, but the Lightning Res is a very nice bonus. Ring, we got this for 1 Exalted. Adds to Fizz damage. Fire Res and Leech physical attack damages. Mana would be the priority. Second ring, 1 Exalted as well. Adds Fizz damage, Max Life, Cold Res, and Leech physical attack damages. Mana once again, and the Chaos Resistance base. So the Amethyst ring is very important, giving you that Chaos Resistance because it's very hard to find. Amulet, I can't remember if we found this and ID'd it or if we found it from a vendor. I'm honestly not sure at this point, but the only thing that matters on here is the Cold Res and Lightning Res. As for the gear upgrades, you guys probably already saw these, but for this amulet, it's going to be the Max Life, level of melee skills, Cold Res, Lightning Res. The max mana and increased evasion rating are definitely nice bonus stats, though I'm not going to lie. This was a steal for 2 Exalted.
Winter prevails.
Chest piece, we've got the priority stats once again, 2 Exalted Orbs, priority stats, evasion rating, percentage increased evasion rating, Fire Res, Cold Res, Max Life, big bonus here. Max Life is always good, but I wouldn't put it above all of the other stats. And then our new boots as well, 2 Exalted Orbs as well, I believe. One of these was actually 3, I can't remember. Maybe the chest piece was 3, maybe the necklace was 3. 2 of these were 2 and 1 of these were 3. I already forgot. But for the boots, 20% increased movement speed, evasion rating, Max Life, Lightning Res, all of the priority. Dexterity is bonus. Reduced shock duration on you is like pretty negligible, I'm going to be honest. Moving on to the skills, same thing here. I'm just going to hover over them. I'll talk more about them in the actual build guide. Unbound Avatar, Persistence, Ice Strike, Martial Tempo, Concentrated Effect, Primal Armament, Tempest Bell, Rage, Heavy Swing. We swapped out Overabundance for Heavy Swing at some point in Act 3. Charge Staff, we've got Lightning Infusion, Conduction, Herald of Ice, Magnified Effect, Cold Infusion, Hypothermia, Heightened Curse, and Expanse, Combat Frenzy, Profusion. And we were running Wind Dancer when we had this other chest piece on, and we will put Wind Dancer back on when we get additional spirit from Act 1 and Cruel. On to the passive tree. I have done a lot of testing and tweaking with the passive tree. I've been looking at like 4 to 5 different build guides and trying to just create the best amalgamation of all of them that seems to me to be the best. Obviously, we won't know for sure until Path of Building comes out. And once again, going to be more detailed in the build guide. I have no idea really what route I would take at this exact moment, because like I said, I've tweaked it so much as I've been leveling to try and just like get the most damage possible. But super like brief guess on what the route would be something like this. You go up through here, stop at Echoing Frost, come back, grab Killer Instinct, tenfold attacks, then you're going to go here. If you have Combat Frenzy and Charge Staff, go Resonance. If not, go here for True Strike, for the Jugular, Deadly Force, and as soon as you can get Combat Frenzy, Charge Staff, stop whatever you're doing in the passive tree and get Resonance, because that's like, you need Resonance to make the combats or Charge Staff work. Once you get all of this stuff though, then you're going to go on a big old journey down here, come grab Serrated Edges, then you're going to grab Coming Calamity, and then I would come back and grab Echoing Thunder. And I think that would be the route. The only thing maybe I would change, like I said, this will be included in the build guide, but maybe you just come, like after you get these two and you come here, maybe you just get Resonance and then skip this for a little bit, and you take this big journey, come down, get Coming Calamity, Serrated Edges, and then you grab this stuff. But I'll have to think about that more, and I'll be sure to include that in the build guide, the exact route I think is best. Alrighty, that's going to conclude episode 2 of my Zero to Hero series. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help. For those of you that are interested, here is the current iteration of my passive tree that I'm working with. I'm level 58 just for reference. Currently I'm going for Deep Trance, but this is what it's looking like at the moment, just in case you wanted to see. Beyond that, after this video comes out, I'm going to quickly finish up Act 3, or Act 3 Cruel, start on some maps. After I do a little bit of the end game, I'm going to make a build guide for getting you through the campaign very smoothly, having a good time. Then after that, once I do episode 3 and episode 4 of the Zero to Hero series, eventually I'm going to make an end game focused guide as well, which should be, really in detail. Hopefully get you all the way to tier 15 maps, maybe even pinnacle bosses. It's just going to depend on where I'm at. But just to let you guys have a little bit of update on what's coming next. Other than that, take it easy, chefs. I'll see you in the next one. And last but not least, take it easy, chefs.
Watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.